Welcome to Hong Kong Brief. The content of the briefing includes: anger over Messi's behavior grows in China ahead of Japan match. China stock rally extends as policy support optimism grows. Asia stocks climb with focus on Beijing support, markets wrap. China share buybacks climb to three-year high amid market slump. Nvidia chip prices soar in Asia as US export curbs and AI boom drive demand. Anger over Messi's behavior grows in China ahead of Japan match. Bloomberg. Lionel Messi's failure to play in a football match in Hong Kong has sparked controversy and frustration among fans in China. Hong Kong sports lawmaker Kenneth Fok accused Messi and his club Inter Miami of disrespecting local fans, which became a hot topic on social media platform Weibo. Many commentators drew comparisons between Messi's behavior in Hong Kong and his demeanor in Japan, where he is scheduled to play. Public anger over Messi's no-show could threaten his partnerships with Chinese brands, and many fans called on liquor brand Qi Shuai to cut ties with the Argentinian. China stock rally extends as policy support optimism grows. Bloomberg. Chinese shares continued to rally on Wednesday, as investors grow more confident that the government will take further measures to support the market. The Hang Seng China Enterprises Index rose as much as 1.5%, while the CSI 300 Index added another 0.7% to Tuesday's 3.5% gain. Smaller stocks saw even larger gains, with the CSI 1000 gauge for the segment jumping as much as 5.6%. The rally follows news that regulators plan to brief President Xi Jinping on the markets, which has fueled optimism that more concerted efforts will be made to support the market. Foreign investors are also continuing to buy Chinese stocks, with purchases on course for a seventh straight session. Asia stocks climb with focus on Beijing support, markets wrap. Yahoo! Asian stocks have risen on expectations that China will promote its stock markets. Meanwhile, investors have largely ignored the Federal Reserve's cautious remarks. The benchmark for Asian equities climbed to its highest level in over a month. Mainland China's shares rose, but Hong Kong's shares gave up earlier gains. Investors are weighing up whether the Beijing government's attempts to stabilize the market will bear fruit. China share buybacks climb to three-year high amid market slump. Bloomberg. Chinese companies are increasing share buybacks as part of efforts to stabilize the country's stock market. Mainland Chinese and Hong Kong firms repurchased a record amount of shares last month, totaling $1.9 billion and $2.6 billion respectively. However, the collective effort is unlikely to have a significant impact on the market, which is still reliant on state intervention and government policy to turn around. Despite this, the buybacks are seen as positive signals by investors, as they indicate that companies believe their businesses are undervalued. Nvidia chip prices soar in Asia as US export curbs and AI boom drive demand. Financial Times. The US export controls on certain high-end chips have caused severe shortages of Nvidia's RTX 4090 graphics cards in Asia. The US began restricting the shipment of the RTX 4090 to China in 2022 in an effort to curb China's advances in AI. The chip is in high demand in Hong Kong and China, where it can be resold at a much higher price due to the restrictions. Retailers in Taiwan, Singapore, Vietnam, and South Korea have all reported shortages and price increases for the RTX 4090. The chip is popular among gamers but can also be used for AI training tasks. As Messi fans cry scam in Hong Kong, any takers for $20,000 ticket in Tokyo? South China Morning Post. Lionel Messi and his club Inter Miami will play a friendly match against Japanese champions Vissel Kobe in Tokyo on Wednesday. Tickets are still available, with prices ranging from 10,000 yen to 45,000 yen, $67 to $303. There are also 4 special experience packages available, costing between 100,000 yen and 3 million yen, $675 to $20,200, which include various perks such as VIP catering, access to pre-match training, a stadium tour, and a meet and greet with Messi. Days from Super Bowl 58, the cheapest seats in the house are still the most expensive in history. Yahoo! The cost to walk into Allegiant Stadium for this year's Super Bowl is trending towards being the most expensive get-in price in Super Bowl history, according to secondary market search engine TicketIQ. As of Tuesday evening, the get-in price for Sunday's game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers was hovering around $7,790. The Las Vegas demand continues to reflect that premium buyers are shelling out to watch the first Super Bowl in the city's history, and also mirrors the significant price hikes that all Raiders home games have carried since moving into Allegiant Stadium. Migration agents cry foul after Australia says golden visa scheme still open. South China Morning Post. Migration agents in Australia have criticized the lack of transparency and communication regarding the Golden Visa program, which allows foreign nationals to gain residency by investing $5 million Australian dollars, $3.3 million, in the country. The government clarified that the program was still active, despite local media reports suggesting that it had been closed. The Migration Institute of Australia, the country's main association for migration professionals, claimed that the reports had caused widespread panic among visa holders, applicants, and agents. The agents also complained about the lack of communication since Prime Minister Anthony Albanese took office in 2022, and the changes made without warning to the usual allocation of visa slots. The government is planning to replace the Business Innovation and Investment Program, BIP, which includes the Golden Visa, as part of a new migration strategy focused on attracting skilled workers. No Messi farce as Hong Kong's footballers get back to real business in Guangzhou. South China Morning Post. 7 Hong Kong players who were involved in a match that was disrupted by fans demanding refunds after Lionel Messi did not play are set to return to competitive action. The players, who will play in the second leg of the Guangdong Hong Kong Cup on Wednesday, have been praised for their commitment to football in Hong Kong despite the lack of financial rewards. One player, Ellison Sang Ehang, who played his first football since last year's Asian Games when Hong Kong won the opening match 2-0 last Wednesday, admitted that while he wanted to play professionally, the financial rewards were insufficient to allow him to do so. The meaning of one of Toby Keith's biggest hits. BBC. American country music singer Toby Keith, who died at the age of 62, was best known for his controversial song, courtesy of the Red, White and Blue, The Angry American. The song, released in 2002 in the wake of the 9/11 terrorist attacks, was a revenge fantasy that featured lyrics such as "We'll put a boot in your ass, it's the American way." The song was divisive, especially during a time of impassioned arguments as to whether or not to go to war in the Middle East. Keith himself got involved in the military charity United Service Organizations, USO, performing in 17 countries, including Iraq and Afghanistan. He also became embroiled in a long-running feud with Dixie Chicks singer Natalie Maines, who called the song ignorant and making country music sound ignorant. Keith's songs often focused on everyday people, although some of his later songs hinted at the America First concept that would later become central to President Donald Trump's campaign. Although Keith performed for Presidents George W. Bush and Trump, he also performed at the Nobel Peace Prize concert in 2009, which honored President Barack Obama. Star China banker's disappearance made his firm a buyout target. Bloomberg. China Renaissance Holdings, the boutique Chinese investment bank founded by Bao Fan, is reportedly shrinking as a significant number of staff have either resigned or lost their jobs. The firm has also received interest from potential buyers, including a Hong Kong-based financial group with a Middle East backer. talks have been difficult due to Bao's detention, which has prevented the firm from making decisions on significant matters. However, Bao recently resigned as chairman and CEO, which may clear the hurdle. Bao's disappearance last year shocked the business community and is believed to be related to the detention of the firm's former president. PGIM Real Estate to tap Asia's rich in private wealth drive. Bloomberg. PGIM Real Estate is targeting private wealth clients in Asia as it looks to diversify its sources of capital. The firm, which primarily caters to institutional investors, is in discussions with several private banks to access high-net-worth individuals and family offices. PGIM Real Estate is also working with affiliate PGIM Investments to provide access to private wealth. The firm has more than $8 billion in assets under management in Asia, out of $210 billion globally. IDG Capital works to rebut U.S. claims over China military ties. Bloomberg. IDG Capital, an international investment firm with offices in Beijing and Hong Kong, has expressed surprise at its inclusion on a U.S. Pentagon list of companies with ties to the Chinese military. The firm said it had not been consulted ahead of time or asked for information and plans to seek clarification and redress. The Pentagon list is aimed at highlighting companies that work with the Chinese military, but it does not carry sanctions or other direct penalties. However, there can be reputational consequences for being included on the list. U.S. bonds rebound, China bets bolster Asia stocks, markets wrap. Bloomberg. U.S. bonds have rebounded ahead of a $42 billion sale of 10-year treasuries after a strong start to the week's increased issuance sizes. Stocks in Hong Kong are set to rally for a second day amid hopes that China will be more forceful in propping up its markets. A $54 billion sale of 3-year U.S. notes drew solid demand, boosting sentiment and causing traders to ignore a slew of cautious remarks from Federal Reserve speakers. The dollar weakened after reaching its highest level since November on Monday. Made in America may be stamped on China stimulus. Bloomberg. China is closely watching U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell amid hopes that a cut in interest rates will boost the country's struggling economy, according to an opinion piece in Bloomberg. The People's Bank of China has limited room to maneuver as it fears a weakening yuan. However, the bank's governor, Pan Gongsheng, believes that if the Fed cuts rates, China will have more leeway to be aggressive. The two countries have diverged in policy in recent years, with the Fed raising rates while signaling an easing for 2019. Hello, I'm Dr. Six, your resident observer from the 6 Degrees world, bringing you the latest news from around the globe. Let's dive into today's stories. First up, we have the growing anger in China over Lionel Messi's behavior. Fans in China are frustrated that Messi didn't play in a match in Hong Kong and accused him of disrespecting local fans. This controversy could potentially threaten Messi's partnerships with Chinese brands. So, it seems Messi might have kicked the hornet's nest with this one. In other news, Chinese shares continue to rally as investors grow more confident in government policy support. The market optimism is fueled by news that regulators plan to brief President Xi Jinping on the markets, leading investors to believe that more efforts will be made to support the market. Foreign investors are also continuing to buy Chinese stocks, which is a positive sign for the market. Moving on, Asian stocks have risen on expectations that China will promote its stock markets, while largely ignoring the Federal Reserve's cautious remarks. Investors are weighing whether China's attempts to stabilize the market will be successful. In the world of Chinese stocks, companies are increasing share buybacks to stabilize the market. While these efforts are unlikely to have a significant impact, they do signal that companies believe their businesses are undervalued. Investors are taking this as a positive sign. On a different note, there is a severe shortage of NVIDIA's RTX 4090 graphics cards in Asia due to U.S. export controls. The restrictions have caused chip prices to soar, making the RTX 4090 in high demand in Hong Kong and China. Retailers in other Asian countries have reported shortages and price increases as well. Looks like the AI boom is driving up demand for these chips. Now, let's talk about Lionel Messi again. This time, he's playing a friendly match in Tokyo against Vissel Kobe, and tickets are still available. Prices range from 10,000 yen to 45,000 yen, $67 to $303, and there are even special experience packages available for a higher price. So, if you're a Messi fan with some extra cash to spare, you might want to catch the match. Shifting gears to sports in the US, the cost of attending this year's Super Bowl in Las Vegas is trending to be the most expensive in history. The demand reflects the premium buyers are willing to pay to watch the first Super Bowl in the city's history. Looks like fans are really excited about this one. On a different note, migration agents in Australia are criticizing the lack of transparency and communication regarding the Golden Visa program. The government clarified that the program is still active, but the confusion caused widespread panic among visa holders, applicants, and agents. It seems like the government needs to work on their communication skills. Lastly, we have the passing of American country music singer Toby Keith. Known for his controversial song, Courtesy of the Red, White and Blue, Keith's songs often focused on everyday people. While his music was divisive, Keith performed in various countries, including Iraq and Afghanistan, and was involved in military charities. He also performed at the Nobel Peace Prize concert in 2009. Farewell, Toby Keith, your music has left a lasting impact. That's all for today's news. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts and answer any questions you might have. What are your thoughts on Messi's behavior in Hong Kong? Do you think the Chinese stock market rally will continue? Let's discuss. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.